Hey guys, check out some of these cars here. That El Camino right there, that El Camino has not been on the road since 1991. We're gonna check these out and some more cars when we come back. And there's a whole bunch of really cool things you've never seen on this video. And guess what? The owner's like, hey man, I gotta get rid of some of them. So if you're interested, just stay tuned. All right, thank you. So welcome to another episode of Junkyards and Barn Finds with Sean, and I'm Sean. All right guys, so we're going to show you not only these but some other cars. And Dave. So there's a gentleman named Dave. We just happened to get him out of his business, just ambushed him, and he's going to show us the cars that we saw, which was an El Camino and a Bronco and a Lincoln. But he says he has more, and guess what guys, they're for sale. So I will put Dave's contact information below. So if you want to reach out to him, he'll give me his contact and you can reach to him and he'll talk prices or whatever it is that you guys want to talk. You know, I don't get involved in that. But these are really, really cool cars. So Dave, Sean, Dever?
Dave Parker.
Dave
Nice
Parker. So I saw these from the other side of the fence because we were next door. Yep. We've been there a couple times over the last couple of years. So first thing is, that's a 68, 69.
That is a 68 El Camino.
Okay. Is it an SS or the stock?
It's a stock. I have the stock hood for it. It was a project car. Right now it's a 350 4-bolt main car.
Okay.
It's got a Muncie 4-speed in it. So it's got
the
some
M22
some
rock crusher.
Yep. It's got the rock crusher in it. I'm not sure, it's been a while since I worked on it. I've had that car for about 30 years.
So you got it when they were $1,300,
yeah,
like my Chevelles.
I bought it in the early 90s. It started out as a project car. It was inside. It's only been outside in the weather for about 8 months.
Okay.
And so I'd like to, you know, like I said.
Yeah, because I never saw it before. I was here last year.
They've all been inside the building, which I'll show you the rest of them that are inside the building.
So this, now is that a fiberglass hood or a metal hood?
That's a fiberglass hood.
Okay.
I have a stock metal hood for it.
Okay, and it's got center lines.
I have the bumpers, I have the grill, I have a lot of the parts for it.
And those center lines have been on there since the 1980s, 90s.
There. They were on the Camino I had, so yeah.
So old school. So now the biggest thing with these, when we've seen them, is that the bottom rusts out.
Right.
And they don't normally come with the flare gun.
Yeah, you know.
Now, is that the Chevy flare gun, or was that the optional?
That's the stock, yes.
Yeah, that was the optional. So all the metals here?
The moldings here, yeah, a lot of the metal. This was all stripped down. I had this stripped down to bare metal. Body work was pretty much done. It was in primer. Like I said, most of this is from the last 8 months sitting here,
right.
So it's not deep. This is pretty solid car.
And it shows on the road 1991 was the last time.
Yep.
And
this was a new quarter panel we put on. This was the worst part when we got the car. I actually bought it at an auction.
So this is really ready to be, like, the heavy stuff's done.
A lot of the the heavy stuff is done. So it's really fine, you know, sanding it back out.
This would really be like a good first project for somebody who never had a project before, because you got the big stuff's there, and you did all the heavy lifting. So now it's just kind of phase 3 of it. So, so you guys, if you're interested in this, and believe me, you can't afford a Chevelle if you're watching my channel probably. So these are the next best things. These are really Chevelles. And a friend of mine's dad, you've heard me talk about the low Camino, where he had the roof lowered. He chopped the roof and he put a blower above the roof. So
dash is all in there, attacked, everything. All the
so yeah, so you don't have to worry about rebuilding a dashboard, which is really a lot of times the problem with this. And you know, these seats, you might be able to just you know, use some I don't know, cleaner on there, and it would be fine. Cleaner and a blanket, it'll work.
I got a lot of like I said, more parts for this.
But that's a really cool, that's what got my eye. Right. But then of course the Bronco, what is this, like a 95? 93?
It's early 90s, but it's the Eddie Bauer edition.
Oh, okay, so it's an actual Eddie Bauer edition.
Actually, Eddie Bauer Bronco. So,
oh, and for you millennials, if you see a Bronco that says Eddie Bauer, it's not Eddie Bowers. It's not a guy named Eddie Bauer. It was an addition because he used to be like a big shot. So, but these are, and it's 4-wheel drive. The Eddie Bauer was basically top of the line. So, and then how'd you get this? What's the story on this?
Story on this one is, it was a friend of mine who passed away.
Okay.
I've had it here on property for over 10 years. I don't have a title for it. I'd have to apply for a lost title on this one.
Okay.
Because we never found a title when he passed.
Gotcha.
I know that he had the title. It was his title. It did run great at one time. It just kind of got parked here. This was also sitting inside. All of these cars were inside up until the past year. These three.
Okay.
Everything else is still inside.
And then I'll just do the quick walk through here. The Eddie Bauer, you can see on the seats. We don't have to open it, but it has Eddie Bauer on the seats. They have a special trim edition. This pops off. And it's got the tow package on it. And obviously this looks like it might have been lifted a little bit, just a short, small body lift on it. So that's a really cool thing. And like I said, anybody's interested, let Dave know. And then this is really neat. This is a Mark III?
This is the last year of the Mark III, yes.
Okay.
This is the final year of the Mark III. My grandfather bought this brand new. So this has been a one-owner car. So we've had this in the family the entire time. So he bought this brand new. It's like I said, the last year of the Mark III, and inside I have the first year of the Mark IV.
Okay. The Mark IVs, my aunt had one. I remember as a kid going to see the different movies and going and visiting. Now this has all the power on it. Now these things a lot, even back in the Mark I, some of them had power. So you've seen them when we've gone to different museums or shows or whatever. So this has a fully loaded, and everything is here. Just really needs a deep cleaning and needs a baby. Obviously you want to take this stuff off so it doesn't rust through, because you can get some holes. This doesn't look like it's too bad yet.
The Mark IV, we took the one off the Mark IV because we were going to redo the roof on that one.
Now, and one of the things, if you're wondering what this is, this was a laser beam that came with this. No, I'm kidding. This is how they used to, this automatic light. So
it's the automatic headlight dimmer.
Yeah, this is what you used to have on your car for a dimmer. Now, a lot of people now have those. Your car does automatically, but you used to have to put that on there, and that was a big deal for Lincoln. They used to feature that on their commercials. So the Mark III, it does have the headlight covers that'll come up and down on here. Oh, so the big 460. So it does not come with a fuel truck to follow you, but everything's here. It's just a little dirty.
Yep.
Just a little dirty. So, and there you go, guys. And this is a one family owned car.
This one and the other Lincoln as well.
So they're both one family owned. And here, by the way, you can see the light covers if you want to. So these light covers, they come down. Now I don't know, are they electric or are they vacuum?
Vacuum.
So they're vacuum on here, kind of like the C3 Corvettes. Yep. So, but everything's here, and this thing is straight, very little surface rust, and
all been garage kept this entire time.
Yeah, so this is probably killing you that they're out here too.
Yes, it is. So that's why I'm like wanting to sell it, because the business is growing and we're running out of room, and I don't have room to store them. So I'd rather see them good to go to a good home and get restored properly. Yeah. So right now is the time, guys. They haven't been out too long. They haven't really been through a winter down here. You can see that how straight. Very little rust. I mean, the rust that's in it is the rust that happened with all of them.
And those the original 2-ply tires.
More than likely, yeah.
Yeah, they look like 2-plies. It's got the poverty caps on them and everything else. So this is the time, guys, to get them. So now, does this one run?
They all ran at one time.
Okay.
So as far as it hasn't been started in I don't know how long.
Right, but
it
it's not like blown engine world. It's just they ran when they were parked.
Every engine ran when it was parked. There's nothing that was blown engine.
So, and now we're gonna walk down through here. I'm gonna catch you back up when we get into the building, because I don't want to show you all the business. We are now in, I didn't want to show you the outside of the building because I don't want anybody messing with it, but that is not a whole 63 Impala up there. That's That's part, oh wow, it's a Nomad. Now, is it a cut? Did you guys, is it a drag car?
It was a 63, it's a 63 Bel Air station wagon. The rear doors have been removed and it's been brought together. And then it's also had 9 inches taken off the back.
So there's tubs in there and everything?
It's not tubbed out, but it's all set up.
Wow.
I mean,
so did you do this?
I bought it like this. I drove it for a long time like this.
Wow.
And then I actually took, it had a 6-cylinder engine in it. And I'm just going to put that in it.
Okay.
It's just a 307 out of a Camaro.
Right, but that's what happened to all the 307s.
Yeah, so yeah. That's where one's sitting. So I got that to go, you know.
This is a neat car.
Yeah, this is really, really cool. This was really fun to drive, and
it reminds me of that little red truck or something.
Yeah, and it was a head turner when I had it on the road.
And so the front end, you still have all the front end and everything up there?
Front end still have, like I said, I had the hood for the El Caminos over in the other room, and have all the parts for everything.
And then this is the Mark IV, which was what, 1977, 78 time frame?
This one is a 74. This
okay.
is the first year. Whatever the first year of the Mark IV was, we have. So they're sequential years. So the one that's outside the Mark III is the last year of the Mark III.
And this was the first year.
The first year of Mark IV.
And this one obviously sat outside for a while. So
this was my father's car, and again, it's never left the family.
Right.
And yeah, it was never garaged, but so the vinyl top that was on it caused this.
But I always.
But the majority of the top is solid.
So it's fixable. This isn't, guys, this is not like when you see some of these people that say you have to replace a roof. This is not. This is a metalwork car that you could do metal work and get it done.
And you can see there's no filler in any of the fenders. This is straight as it was.
This is a baby blue. My aunt had one that was, my Aunt Ann had one that was a maroon color, but hasn't been driven in a while, as you could tell. But
all of them ran. That ran. Yeah. I backed it in here.
Now these are not for sale.
Everything's for sale.
Oh, everything's for sale. For just call Dave and find out.
Wagons for sale. Yep. Everything is.
Well, actually, probably the whole business is for sale if you have enough money.
Well,
but we're talking a little bit more than spare change on that. So.
And
then in here. This was this where the other ones were, right? Probably in there.
Yeah, exactly.
Is this a Bandit?
It is.
So that's a 79 Bandit. 79?
That is an actual Bandit.
That's an original. And we actually have had the Bandit, we've had Burt Reynolds' car on, because that's up in Ocala. So we've had his car that he owned. We've had the car, two of the cars from the movies on, the 76s. Then we've had, but this one is an unrestored Bandit.
And we've owned it since the mid 80s.
So you bought it with maybe a couple thousand miles on it or whatever, like?
It was in rough shape when we got it. The gentleman that owned it, it was rough. He had to leave the country. His visa ran out.
Okay.
So we bought it, and then we've had it.
So you got it. Did you get a deal? I hope.
Got a deal on it.
And this thing is just got the 6.6 in it. It's got the T-tops in it. So it's got the tan interior, which is the Bandit interior. It's got all the thousands of miles of pinstriping that went on these cars.
Yes.
So that is like the reason I think most people ended up just buying formulas, is so they didn't have to fix all the pinstriping if something ever went wrong. But
they really went all out with the pinstriping.
But
it was the late 70s, early 80s after all. So.
But these things are so wanted, and this thing obviously hasn't moved in many, many years.
It's all there. Just waiting to be. Like I said, these were all projects that sat in the garage, and my one day going to restore kind of thing.
And they run, like you said, it ran, or it did. It's whatever. It may just need to be freshened up. And then of course the Franklin.
1928 Franklin.
Now these have wood doors?
Half wood and half steel. Yep.
Okay. So, and it has are these the wood wheels? The wood spoke?
Those are the wood spoke wheels.
So original wood spoke wheels?
Yep, and it's got the original engine in it as well.
Really?
Yeah.
Now that's an engine, boys.
You got the whole.
Look at that. Sorry guys, battery ran out. You know, hazard of the job. So this is the Franklin. So is this where you would put in to turn? So this still had a hand crank on it. And what type of engine is that?
Beats the heck out of me because this.
It's not diesel.
No, it's a gasoline engine.
So it's a 6.
And it ran. If there's a fuel bowl that's cracked on it.
Okay.
But
maybe Jay Leno, if you're watching this, please send fuel bowl.
This used to be one of the, back in the day, if you're familiar with Florida, Truly Nolan, the Exterminator. This was one of the Truly Nolan cars that used to sit up by the highway.
Yeah, we tried to find Truly Nolan, and you can't get a hold of their headquarters about their cars.
This was a Truly Nolan car. Back in the 90s, they sold off a lot of their stock.
Oh, they did?
This is where we got this one.
So this would usually have something here that would be, it would be a really cool, but it would also be a temperature gauge.
Right.
So it might have wings that move up, or there would always be something here. It wouldn't just be like a glass speed. It would be something that was decorative that would move so you knew you were overheating or had to put water in it.
This one has a spare tire on the other side and everything with it.
Oh, a true spare. So that can be used with the wooden spokes. Now, did you ever drive this?
No.
Or it was kind of bought, and it's actually got the real trunk, guys. So again, that's where the word trunk comes from. This trunk is named a trunk because they used to have trunks on the back of these cars, and that's where that came from. And then this has the cloth roof, the canvas roof.
Yeah, it's like a leather almost.
But you said you bought it. Was it drivable when you bought it?
It was drivable when we bought it. It had the fuel issue. Like I said, my father bought this in the 90s.
Okay.
Again, with the intention of restoring. All these were intention cars.
Right.
But the good thing about them, they've all been inside since the 90s,
and
including the first 3.
Now this one, and you said everything's for sale.
Everything is for sale.
So, and I know there's a couple of you guys that collect these, but maybe the good thing that you didn't drive them was now they are truly collectible.
They are awaiting to be restored, which is why I've always kept them inside out of the weather. Like I said, it's been killing me. I had tarps over those 3, but they blew away in wind and stuff like that. We've been planning to bring them back in. So,
and that just, but this one here, and it does have a cracked windshield, guys, but that's fine, nothing major on that.
And also with this one, which they're very hard and rare to find, I have an extra set of T-tops that are in perfect shape that are in the trunk in the original bags that they came in. So I've got an extra set of T-tops for this.
But the nice thing is this is a true black gold when the movie came out. Yep. And here's the thing, guys, if you remember, you got to realize that the Trans Am was just Trans Am. So when the first movie came out, the first Bandit car, they weren't called Bandit cars because the Bandit didn't exist. They were from a movie that everybody thought was going to be a flop. It only opened in like 5 theaters. And then it became basically the blockbuster because of the South, because of Coors beer, because of all the stuff. It became iconic. That's after the first movie is when these were called Bandit cars. And by that point, they had already got scored for a second one. But they only used 5 original. In the first movie, they used 5, which they had to keep putting back together. The last one barely ran, and the funny thing, if you guys don't know the story about, is that part of the reason Burt Reynolds was going to do the movie was because he was supposed to get one. Halfway through the movie, Pontiac changed CEOs or presidents. The new president said there was nothing in writing about him getting one, so he actually had to go buy one because they didn't give him one. Which, by the way, you didn't want one from the movie anyway because they were basically like Dukes of Hazzard cars. They were just falling apart by the end of the movie. But
they're known to the general public as Bandits, but they're the Trans Am SE, which is special edition.
So
it's a Trans Am, and then they put the SE at the end. So if you go into the VIN, it's known as an SE.
An SE. Mm-hmm. So if you look at a VIN, that's how you could tell a real one. So if you're at a car show and you look at a VIN, it doesn't say SE, then it was not a black gold quote
It
Bandit.
wasn't. Yeah, it's a mod or whatever.
Right.
Resto. It's
or somebody
they do a replica or whatever they
Right.
do. But this is all numbers matching, the engine matches, all the VIN matches on all of it.
Yeah.
So, all numbers.
So Mr. Collins in Texas, I know you collect these as well as your Jeeps and everything. This might be a good find for you. But yeah, I mean, and these cars now are bringing a premium when once they're done and redone. So, but well, Dave, man, this was a true barn find, guys. That's what we're just talking.
This is somebody discovered me finally.
I literally saw like 3 cars out front. I had like half a battery left, and I'm like, it's 3 cars. It won't take more than 10 minutes. And then this is always what happens. It's like that guy with the barn in Pennsylvania when he was like, oh, you want to see what's in the barn? And lifted it up, and we found all those cars.
They've only been sitting here for 30 years. Somebody had to come find them eventually.
So, and here's a nice thing, guys. I try to do this because now this video will be up. So even if Dave sells these, he can watch this video and knows what he had and can, remember this stuff. So if you have something that is like this, where you probably may get rid of it, but you want the memory, let me know. I'm happy. I drive from here to Pennsylvania to New York. We've been everywhere. So you can just let me know. I'm happy to come and document what you have. And like I said, if you're interested in any of this stuff, we'll put an email or whatever Dave wants for his contact up and reach out to him. And, I hope somebody gives them a good home and gets them back on the road, because they're like boats. They don't do well. Boats don't do well on a dock. Cars don't do well sitting in garage. They're not meant to be lawn ornaments. They're meant to be driven. So anyway, well, I think you got through. And, all right, guys, you like this? Keep watching the channel. We have 640 other videos if you like this kind of thing. And please like, subscribe, put any comments down. And if you need to get a hold of Dave, right above in the written description will be his contact. Thanks, guys. Talk to you later. Should they subscribe to this channel even if they don't like cars today for this one?
Probably just for this one.
Where it says merchandise store right here, merchandise store link, you will see it says https:/junkyards-barn-finds, and you click on that and it's going to take you here.